1 week ago, we were in Qatar for the inaugural night race. This weekend, round 2 of the FIM Motocross World Championship takes another step into the future with the Grand Prix of Thailand. This Thai Grand Prix is not only the second round of the FIM MX1 MX2 Motocross World Championship, but it's also the final stop on our flyaway tour. In terms of presentation and preparation, the organisers here couldn't have done any more. The circuit is spectacular, it's fast, and it's littered with some huge jumps. And with this being a flyaway race, we have all the new Superfinal to look forward to that sees the top 20 MX1 and MX2 riders go head-to-head in the final race of the day. In MX2, Jeffrey Hurlings is clearly the man to beat, but behind him are a bunch of young guns looking to get in on the action, while Clément de Sal looks to build on his slender lead after round 1.
Hello and welcome to our second flyaway round of the year. This week, the FIM World Motocross Championship comes to see Russia in Thailand. The atmosphere here at the track is electric as the fans get ready to enjoy another awesome weekend of racing. The riders will be put through their paces once again on another new track, but before we get started on this week's action, let's have a quick recap of our opening round in Qatar.
For the first time ever, under floodlights, the FIM MX1 MX2 Motocross World Championship got underway, and in MX2 Race 1, Jeffrey Hurlings had to wait about 3 laps before he found a way past the fast-starting Glenn Coldenhoff on the standing construct KTM, but he did win the first race from Coldenhoff and Charlier. In the MX1 category, it was Clément de Sal who was the eventual winner, but he had to come through from 4th position, passing the likes of Ken Dodika, Evgeny Bobashev and Kevin Strybos to pick up those 25 points. Tony Cairoli wasn't a good starter. He started 10th on the first lap, but eventually came through to 3rd. The first ever Superfinal saw the top 20 MX2 riders line up on the first 20 gates. The MX1 guys having to do it hard from the outside, but it wasn't long before the battle at the front finally started to take shape. Clément de Sal led for the first 4 laps from Tony Cairoli, but Cairoli would eventually go through on lap 5. Jeffrey Hurlings was the star of the show though, and the MX2 rider would come home as the first MX2 guy. That was the moment that Clément de Sal had to yield to Antonio Cairoli, and once the Italian was there, he never looked back. Gauthier Paulin worked his way to finish in 3rd, with Bobashev 4th.
We're used to seeing the guys go bar to bar on the track. Let's see what happened when they got to grips with 3 wheels. Let the Tuk Tuk race begin. Matt, what do you think about your skills on 3 wheels?
Yeah, the Tuk Tuk race was pretty fun. I've never done anything like that before. Skills, yeah, they're pretty up there. I won the race, so.
Yeah, the Tuk Tuk racing was really good. It's always fun, you know, those media days on Friday. It's always dangerous to give like bikes or something to our racers because we always break things.
Livy, how's it being a passenger in the Tuk Tuk?
That was fun. I mean, we had really good fun with Malpocock on the handlebar. It was pretty scary. We did a good race, but we won, so I'm pretty happy. That was already the first win of the weekend.
Gauthier, what do you think about your tuk-tuk skills?
I was just crazy. There was some water, we passed on, they get all the water, our concurrent, our teammate, and then we just jumped the ramp of the tabletop. That was huge, really nice.
Hey, I'm Joe Rowlands, Monster Energy Yamaha MX1.
Joe Rowlands takes us for a lap around this brand new circuit at Sirachar in Thailand. It's an uphill start, about 100 metres or so through a sweeping 180-degree banked left turn. Then we drop downhill through 2 single rollers before we arrive at turn 2. Slightly more than 90 degrees and banks to the outside, up onto a plateau. The riders then head down past pit lane before arriving at turn 3, over a slight crest, turning back on itself, over another single, and then we have this Monster Energy tabletop that leads into a single. Some riders might even take that as one jump. It's about 30 meters from point to point. Exit turn 4, over a ski jump. Then we arrive at turn 5 before heading slightly uphill, over a huge step up, and then landing through the right-hander in front of the main grandstand. Double single downhill, working its way through to the bottom of the valley and then over the second Monster Energy tabletop jump, landing here in this tight left-hand turn. Seat bounce your way through. Eventually you should be able to get over that step down into this flat turn at the bottom of the hill. Then it's 5 waves heading up towards the SAT triple jump, landing on this step here, sweeping through the right, tabletop, then dropping downhill about 110, 120 meters, something like that, braking hard to make this 160-degree right-hand turn. Going to be loose and rocky, very slick, quite tricky through there. Work your way back up the hill, over a step into this off-cambered left, and then we have a triple-double downhill section into the final left-hander on the circuit. Bang to the outside, as you can see. Then we sweep over this single, through the long right-hander, over the Monster Energy finish line jump, and then after that we go right, and then over a uphill step, and we rejoin at turn 1. That's a lap.
It was amazing to see the Superfinal in Qatar. It was really something. I think in motocross we see a few times only Motocross of Nations. The start was unbelievable, and the racing it was really great in all the position. Unfortunately, sometimes we can not arrive to show what's happened on the back, and we have to improve on that. But we was very, very happy. The people present, it was astonished about the high level of competition for all the position, from the first position until to the 40. And so we will now continue to improve the format. We have to continue to improve the way how we're filming. It's clear it was the first time, and I'm sure it's something which the fans, when they see that, they will be crazy about.
Well, in Qatar, it was the top 18 riders from both the MX1 and MX2 that transferred through. But this weekend, after one round, the top 10 riders in the championship automatically qualified for the Superfinal. So then we need 8 more riders. There will be the 8 best placed riders outside the championship top 10 in both MX1 and MX2 races 1. The last chance race provides 4 more riders, 2 from MX1 and 2 from MX2, the top 2 in each category. Then it's a 40-rider main event. Maximum 40 riders, 20 from MX1 and 20 MX2. Championship points will be scored in both categories.
Saturday's qualifying saw an unexpected turn of events when the heavens decided to open during MX2 free practice. However, by the afternoon, things had started to dry out and it was back to business, with Jeffrey Hurlings picking up the MX2 qualifying win. Fortunately, there were no surprises with the weather come race day. Here's what happened.
Riders lined up then for race 1. MX1, Jeffrey Hurlings up the inside due to his best qualifying position, winning the qualifying race. But Roman Febvre it was who stormed into an early lead on the Wilbo Lestar JM Racing KTM, but before the end of the lap, Jeffrey Hurlings was through. So Jeffrey Hurlings then, the Red Bull KTM rider, number 84, was your early leader, and looked set to just dominate the race. 4.61, Roman Febvre was second, Jake Nichols, his teammate, was third, Christophe Charlier on the Monster Energy Yamaha was fourth, with Jose Boutron, Silver Action KTM, down in fifth, ahead of the Rockstar Energy Suzuki of Max Anstey. Dean Ferris, second in the championship from a week ago, he found himself down in seventh place. Jordi Tixier, riding with stitches in his neck after a qualifying crash on Saturday, was riding through the pain barrier. He started 8th and eventually would finish in 6th. That was Dylan Ferrandis being taken out by Alessandro Lupino. That was the Italian coming through quite literally to get 11th place, but Lupino would eventually finish in 8th. Dean Ferris coming under attack from Glenn Coldenhoff on the standing construct KTM in the closing stages of the race, and Dylan Ferrandis was carrying our onboard camera, was having another off-track excursion all by himself and would lose a position to his teammate Valentin Tellier in the process. Dylan Ferrandis would eventually finish in 14th place. Jordi Tixier and Glenn Coldenhoff battled, but in the end it was the 911 of Jordi Tixier who would take 6th place on the Red Bull KTM, pushing Glenn Coldenhoff on the standing construct KTM back down to 7th. Alessandro Lupino, number 300 on the CLS Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki, would find a way past Christophe Charlier to take 8th. Charlier with 9th, and Petr Petrov on the Vandelar Kimi Ratek Yamaha came home in 10th, but no one was a match for Jeffrey Hurlings as he romped to victory ahead of Roman Febvre and Max Anstey.
We are going on the way to Thailand. Hello. We are really excited because you know it's been a while that we didn't had the race, especially first races on a new place, and so it was cool. I mean, being to Qatar, to Doha, to the night race, and now we are here in Thailand for the second race of the World Championship, and we are here in a super nice place, and that's cool. You know, it's more relaxed in one way because you take a little bit rest during the two races, and you can do funny things.
Oh, you try your best, you'll never find.
Both places, it's pretty warm, so we hang out more or less at the beach, and also in Qatar we just hang around and what's the different culture that there is in these places. And also here in Thailand, yesterday we went boat tripping, and we visited some island, and yeah, and discovered the land. So it's normally you do this kind of things, you know, because we don't have so much time during. You also need to train, and so you have to combine these two things. So it's not so much time, but you can have fun for sure during these two races. It's cool. I like it because for sure the title of the World Championship must be all over, you know, the world. So I think if we have more races we have around the world, is much more better for the series, you know. So I think for me it's a good thing. Actually, in Qatar was a okay race for me. I mean, I was a little bit disappointed about my first race, first heat, because I made some mistakes, especially in the beginning of the race, on the really beginning, on the start. So then I had to come back 20 position to the top 3. It was a hard work for me, but you know, this is also part of motocross, because you can make mistakes. You can it's not everything planned, you know. Everything can change in 1 second. So. It was a decision that we already talked a lot before, because I think KTM at the moment is the best team for sure, and I don't see any other team who can come closer when these 3 years are finished. For me, I'm only 30 years old, so I hope a lot of more championship to come.
It was Tony Cairoli who set the pace in Saturday's MX1 qualifying, but Clement Desalle, who came here as the current championship leader. The crowd were more than excited to see the pair and the rest of the MX1 riders fight it out when it came to the race. This is how it played out.
MX1, race 1 then. And the gate dropped, and it was Tony Cairoli who this time didn't make the same mistake he made in the qualifying race and held on to that whole shot. But not for long, because Evgeny Bobashev found a way through into the lead at the top of the hill. Just before that, we saw Tanel Leok go down on the first lap whilst holding 4th position. So it's going to be a long way back for the Route 77 Energy Honda rider all the way through this field, eventually coming home in 12th. Marc Desalle, number 25 on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki World MX1 machine, was having a bit of a battle all by himself. So too Ken Dodika, but he found his way from 3rd. Past Tony Cairoli initially, but then after Evgeny Bobashev fell whilst leading, Ken Dodika was our new leader, Antonio Cairoli was in 2nd, and he charged after his teammate Ken Dodika, so it was a Red Bull KTM 1-2. Marc Desalle came under pressure on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki from the factory Kawasaki of Gauthier Paulin, number 21 on that green Kawasaki. But Paulin would eventually finish 4th, Desalle 3rd. Tony Cairoli, once he had his eyes set on his teammate, number 9, Ken Dodika, the battle for the lead would swing in the favour of the 6-time world champion, with an easy pass in the end on his teammate at the top end of the circuit, right in front of the main grandstand. Jens Getterman on the 24 MX Honda would have to pull out and go to the last chance race, just like he did a week ago. Tommy Solo was having a good ride, eventually came home in 5th, David Philippas was 6th, Kevin Strybos was 7th, and Rui Gonçalves was 8th after a bit of a tussle with Kevin Strybos, the Rockstar Energy Suzuki rider. At number 22, Strybos tried to find a way past David Philippas, but failed with that attempt. Philippas would be let off and would eventually come home in 6th. Strybos 7th. Cairoli would win for Dodika and Desalle.
We have a base setting that we tested with in the winter, and we always start with that. Then we just have a look at the track and how it might change, and we just make a few adjustments throughout the weekend. Normally the bike is pretty good, it's just minor adjustments.
Dean's obviously new to the team. He came over in the winter, he did a week in setting up the bike, and he was happy with everything. Went back, did the pre-season training, and then we come to the first round, just similar stuff to what he's been using, what he's been happy with in the winter, and we go from there really.
No, if it's practice, I normally pull in and we talk about it then and make a change if we can. But obviously during the race, the only communication we have is pit board, and we can't make any changes to the bike, but maybe some changes to my riding style and lines, and just to give me an update on where I'm at and things like that. That's quite easy through using the pit board.
That's one of the main things to get right, to let him where he is in the race and know what lap times he's doing, and if he's dropping, and that's one of the things I have to step in and say, right, now you need to pick it up.
It seems to be business when we're at the track, and this week I've actually been able to spend some time just chilling out here in Thailand. It's actually been fun. We've just been riding scooters around, and we're just like mates, so it's we've got a really good relationship together.
Important because, you know, like he's putting his life into my hands, and obviously me building the bike, and if you don't have that relationship, then he's not going to feel safe when he goes out there on the track. So it's really important that he leaves everything to me, and I get the job done, and then he goes out on the track and he's happy. He can take his mind off the bike and concentrate on his riding.
I think it's really important because when you're working around people you want to be with, it's always better environment. You can always have a joke here and there, even though it's really serious at times. It's good to just break the monotony of it being just business all the time.
For the second time in the space of less than a week, the MX1 and MX2 riders went up against one another in the Superfinal. It made for another exciting spectacle as the action reached a climax in the final race of the day.
Superfinal then for the second time. We won't see this again until Brazil and Mexico a little later on. The MX2 guys up the inside, Jeffrey Hurlings, but it was Dean Ferris who was the lead MX2 guy, came out fourth in the combined race as they went through the first couple of corners. Jeffrey Hurlings was just a few positions behind him, so too Roman Febvre, but Tony Cairoli 222 and Commander Sal number 25, they were the guys who led the way in the early stages. Gauthier Paulin 21 was in third, with the number 100 Tommy Searle in fourth. As the race went on though, Dean Ferris started to drop back, first to Jeffrey Hurlings and then to the 999 of Rui Gonçalves on the Ice One Racing KTM. Wasn't long before Evgeny Bobashev was knocking on the door as well, off the 111 Yamaha. And we saw it before long, Ferris would find himself dropping down the order to about 15th eventually. Dean Ferris would finish 19th in the race, but 6th in MX2. Meanwhile, the battle was at the head of the field. Tony Cairoli was clearing off, but Gauthier Paulin, after sitting in third for so long, made this pass on Clément de Sal. And that would put Gauthier Paulin in second in the race, and of course second in MX1 category. De Sal was third at that stage, but he was then coming under pressure from Jeffrey Hurlings in the closing stages with a couple of laps to go, but De Sal put the squeeze on him here, and with the temperatures as hot as they had been all weekend long, suddenly Jeffrey Hurlings found he had no fight left in the tank and was happy to settle for fourth in the race, but the lead MX2 guy. Tommy Searle was fifth, but Tony Cairoli won his second successive Superfinal race. Gauthier Paulin was second, Clément de Sal third, Jeffrey Hurlings fourth. Tommy Searle, Rui Gonçalves, Xavier Borg, Joel Roulant, Stephen Frossard and Kenda Dijkert round out the top 10. In terms of the MX2 classification, Jeffrey Hurlings remains unbeaten with a maximum 100 points. Roman Febvre now moves to second. Ferris is third with Charlier and Coldenhoff rounding out the top 5. And in MX1, Antonio Cairoli is a new championship leader from Clément de Sal, Gauthier Paulin, Kenda Dijkert and Tommy Searle. From de Sal, and a new podium this weekend. Jeffrey Hurlings, the winner in MX2, flanked by Roman Febvre on the left as we look at it. Dr. Wolfgang Schrub handing Jeffrey Hurlings a red plate. Tony Cairoli winning here in MX1 in Thailand. Gauthier Paulin second this weekend. Clément de Sal third. Once again, Dr. Wolfgang Schrub, the director of the FIM CMS, on hand to deliver another red plate to Tony Cairoli.
Well, there we have it. Tony Cairoli taking a second Superfinal win and leaving Thailand as the MX1 Championship leader, whilst Jeffrey Hurlings retains his position at the top of the MX2 standings. We'll see you next time out for the first European round of the series in Valkenswaard. In the meantime, keep following us on Facebook and Twitter at MXGP Live. Oh, I think there's one more thing.
Con los terroristas. Harlem Shake.